Traveling to a new country is always an exciting adventure, whether it's for vacation, a fresh start, or school. But no matter where we go, it's important to stay cautious because unfortunately, bad things can happen anywhere, even in places that feel safe. Today, I want to talk about a case from Brisbane, Australia, back in 2013, the story of Eunji Ban. It's not a very well-known case, but it's still worth talking about because it shows just how unpredictable life can be. If you ever visit Wickham Park in Brisbane, you might notice a small monument tucked away in the greenery. It reads, "In memory of Eunji Ban, the 1st of February 1991 to the 24th of November 2013, forever remembered by the people of Brisbane." Eunji's story may not have made huge headlines, but her untimely death left a lasting impact on the local community. On the morning of November 24th, 2013, a passerby walking through Brisbane CBD Park stumbled upon a shocking sight: a young woman's body lying beneath a tree with clear signs of violence. The police and paramedics were called in immediately, and the area was closed off as they investigated what happened. Blood on the nearby footpath suggested that the attack didn't happen right there in the park, but rather Eunji's body was moved there after the fact. Eunji Ban was brutally assaulted in a way that left her with severe injuries. During the attack, she was repeatedly punched in the face with such force that nearly every bone in her face was broken. She also suffered extensive head injuries as a result of the assault. Eunji Ban, who was in her early 20s, had only been in Brisbane for about 6 weeks. She had moved there from South Korea to pursue her studies and was living in an apartment near the park in the Roma Street Parklands area, which was home to a lot of other Korean residents. She had likely found a sense of community there, but tragically, she happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Eunji was studying English at English Unlimited, a language school in Brisbane, at the time of her tragic death. She was excited about her new life, eager to improve her language skills and immerse herself in Australian culture. Eunji was described as kind, motivated, and enthusiastic about her studies, having quickly adapted to life in Brisbane and made new friends. Her death sent shockwaves through the local community, and her school remembered her as a beautiful person who loved learning. Like many international students, she was working hard to make a life for herself. She took on a job as a cleaner, waking up before dawn to head to work. Her routine seemed pretty straightforward, until that early morning of November 24th, 2013, when everything took a tragic turn. On that Sunday morning, the police had already cordoned off the area. Investigators combed through Roma Street Parklands, searching for clues. They found some of Eunji's personal belongings nearby, but there wasn't much else to go on. It didn't look like she had been robbed or sexually assaulted. Her death, at first glance, seemed random and brutal, leaving the police with more questions than answers. The crime scene itself was just behind the Brisbane Dental Hospital on Turbot Street, right across from Roma Street Parklands. Investigators hoped they could get some leads from nearby CCTV cameras, but that didn't help either. With no immediate answers, the police turned to the public for information, and that's when things started to come together. A tip came in pointing them toward a man named Alex McEwen. According to the caller, Alex had recently confessed to the crime during a night of heavy drinking with friends. The night before the murder, Alex and his friends had been partying, drinking heavily at his place. They all seemed to be in good spirits, and nothing about Alex stood out as unusual. But just hours later, Alex called one of his friends with a shocking confession. he had killed someone on the street simply because he felt like it. It's a disturbing chain of events. Here's how the timeline fits together. Eunji Ban, as usual, got up around 3 a.m. to start her day and head to her cleaning job. By 3:30, she was on her way, walking the quiet streets near Brisbane CBD Park. It was still dark outside, and traffic was light at the hour. She was just walking, focused on getting to work, unaware that a drunk Alex was nearby. As she passed through the park, things quickly escalated. Out of nowhere, Alex grabbed her, knocking her to the ground. Eunji tried to fight back, but Alex, just 19 years old at the time, overpowered her completely. He punched her repeatedly while she could only manage to cough out the word "no" between blows. Alex, on the other hand, shouted horrific things like "die, bitch, die," as he relentlessly attacked her. After brutally attacking Eunji Ban, Alex paused, seemingly unsure of what to do next. He tried to pick her up, but according to him, she was too heavy to lift. Some say he dragged Eunji by her feet, others claim he pulled her by her hair, but either way, he dragged her body into the park, leaving a trail of blood behind. He dumped her beneath a tree and, in a disturbing detail, hung strands of her hair on the branches, later describing it as making her look like a Christmas tree. Eunji died there, drowning in her own blood. After the horrifying act, Alex returned to his apartment and called his friends. He casually told them what he had done, confessing in detail. He claimed he felt like killing someone and went out to do it, knowing the police would probably catch him soon. Despite that, he suggested they throw a celebration with a steak dinner before he went to jail, as if it was just another night out. At first, Alex's friends didn't believe him, but when the news broke out about a woman's body being found and Alex showed up at a hospital to get his broken hand treated, the pieces started to fall into place. Realizing he was serious, his friends reported him to the police, describing everything Alex had told them. The details matched what investigators had found at the scene, so the police moved quickly to arrest him. Alex didn't resist when officers showed up. He didn't try to run or even put up a fight. During questioning, he didn't wait for a lawyer. He openly confessed to the crime. On November 26, just days after their daughter's tragic death, Eunji Ban's parents arrived in Brisbane. They had hoped to reunite with her, but instead, they were there to claim her body, their daughter's face already badly disfigured from the attack. It was a devastating moment, not only for them, but also for the Korean community in Brisbane. People were outraged, especially women, as they demanded justice for Eunji's senseless death. When Alex appeared in court that same month, he pled not guilty to murder, though he admitted to causing her death. In his defense, he claimed to be suffering from schizophrenia, a common excuse used by criminals to explain away horrific crimes. But was there any truth to his mental health claims, or was it just a ploy to avoid full accountability for the murder of Eunji Ban? That was the question everyone was asking. Schizophrenia is a serious mental illness, and when people think of it, they often imagine psychosis, when someone loses touch with reality. It's true that schizophrenia can cause people to act in ways they might not normally, but in Alex's case, there were no real signs of this. His friends described him as a pretty laid-back guy, with no major signs of mental illness. As one psychiatrist pointed out during the trial, mental illnesses don't just appear out of nowhere before a crime or during it, so Alex's claim was immediately questionable. After further investigation, it was confirmed Alex didn't show any signs of schizophrenia. In fact, during a 2018 trial, it came to light that Alex admitted to faking his symptoms when speaking to clinicians in 2016. He confessed that he only wanted to be declared unfit for trial. Why? Because he thought being declared incompetent to stand trial would spare his mother the heartbreak of watching him face justice. Can you imagine the level of selfishness, thinking about his own comfort after killing someone else's daughter? It's mind-boggling. But what's even crazier is how the trial continued to spiral. Once Alex realized no one was buying his fake schizophrenia excuse, he switched gears. Suddenly, he claimed that a demon named Jazzy had possessed him during the murder. Alex grew up in Brisbane, Australia, in a Christian family that regularly attended church. His family was described as supportive, and Alex had even done missionary work in China before his crime. Despite this background, Alex claimed to have struggled with feelings of being possessed by this evil presence called Jazzy from a young age. When asked why he named the demon Jazzy, Alex said it was because he started listening to jazz music at the time. According to Alex, this demon had hooves like a horse, the hairy body of a man, and the head of a goat, basically the type of monster you'd find in a horror movie. At this point, it seemed like Alex would say just about anything to avoid taking responsibility. He even went on to describe how he couldn't control his body during the attack. He said he tried to stop, but was powerless, as if this jazzy demon had taken over completely. During Alex's trial, one particularly disturbing detail emerged about how he handled Eunji Ban's body after the attack. He confessed that he used strands of her hair to decorate a tree, comparing it to a Christmas tree. When asked about why he did this, Alex gave the bizarre explanation that he wanted to make it look festive, showing his warped mindset and detachment from the brutal nature of the crime. This detail further solidified the prosecution's argument that Alex acted with cruelty and intent. Crown Prosecutor David Meredith wasn't having any of it. He firmly argued that Alex knew exactly what he was doing when he murdered Eunji Ban. During Alex's trial, it was revealed that he had laid down next to Eunji Ban's body when a car passed by, making it look like they were just two intoxicated people lying on the side of the road. This act was part of Alex's efforts to avoid suspicion while carrying out the crime, demonstrating a level of awareness and control over his actions. This detail became a key point for the prosecution. Meredith argued that Alex wasn't out of control. He was fully aware of his actions and took steps to cover up the crime afterward. In Meredith's eyes, Alex's refusal to face reality was just him avoiding the fact that he was, in the prosecutor's words, a psycho. Alex denied this, of course. In 2018, after years of dragging out the case, the jury took only one day to reach a unanimous verdict. Alex, 25 years old at the time, was found guilty of murdering Eunji Ban. The judge sentenced him to life imprisonment, with a minimum of 20 years to be served before any chance of parole. And how did Alex react to this? With no emotion at all. As the jury read out the verdict and the judge passed the sentence, he just sat there, expressionless, and was calmly led out of the courtroom, away from the heartbroken family of Eunji. For Eunji's parents, justice was served, but that didn't make their loss any easier to bear. They had flown to Brisbane, hoping to visit their daughter and share her excitement about starting their new life, only to be forced to claim her body and see the horrifying reality of what had happened to her. It took years for Alex to show any kind of remorse for what he had done, and even then, his lack of true accountability left Eunji's family feeling frustrated. They were willing to forgive, but Alex's constant excuses and avoidance of responsibility made it difficult to find peace. Alex later wrote a letter expressing remorse, saying he wished he could take it back and give her flowers instead, but the sincerity of this was questioned. Brisbane Police Commissioner Ian Stewart also responded to the case, urging people, especially women, to take extra precautions. He acknowledged how tragic it was that such a violent crime could occur in Brisbane, a city considered relatively safe. The area where Eunji was attacked was a busy route during the day, but at night, it became a hangout spot for the homeless. It's a sad reminder that even in familiar or well-traveled areas, danger can still be lurking. Eunji Ban's death shocked Brisbane, and for good reason. It wasn't just the brutality of the attack, it was the sheer randomness. There was no motive, no reason, just a young woman caught in the path of someone who decided to act out his violent fantasies. She didn't know Alex, and she certainly didn't deserve the horrific fate that met her that morning. Her story is one that should never be forgotten. It's a reminder of the unpredictability of evil and how it can strike when we least expect it. Many members of the Korean community, both in Australia and abroad, expressed their anger and demanded justice, feeling that Eunji's death was a reflection of the vulnerability of many immigrants in foreign countries. Eunji will forever be remembered, not just by her family, but by the community in Brisbane, and hopefully by us. Her life was cut short, but her memory lives on. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.